Hey guys, Dancy2, back with more Let's Play Golden Sun Dark Dawn. Last time, we went down into Crossbone Isle and got a bunch of goodies. I have since forged those goodies up into various things. And I have not forged the Warren Bow yet, I will do that on screen. But in total, we had, I think, 2 of every forging material, which would be Dark Matter, Zol, Orichalcon, and Mithril Silver. The Dark Matter I made into the Terra Shield, which I'm not going to give to anyone because, honestly, I don't have a use for it. And the... do I have it? Ah, there it is. The Demon Circlet for Karis. Demon Circlet will increase her crit chance, as well as giving her probably the best defense as far as mage headgear in the game. In fact, yeah, definitely best defense, because nothing comes anywhere near close to 50. As a result, I've also given her the Cleric's Ring. This is pretty much the most effective use of the Cleric's Ring I can find for my setup. You might have a better use for it, but this is how I'm gonna roll, personally. I think... oh, right. One of the Mithril Silvers I made into Mithril Clothes for Matthew. In order to get him a better Unleash rate. And the other Mithril Silver I made into Mithril Claws. Because, unbeknownst to me, apparently I have 2 extra Mithril Silvers in this game. I thought I only had 1, but apparently I have 2, because there's still 1 for us to get, I think. Or I might be miscounting. The point is, I have all the Mithril equipment I need, so is whatever at this point. So I just kind of made it and went with whatever popped out. Okay, no, she's completely different. So everything else is on Elo. One of the Orichalcons I made into the Big Bang Glows, which obviously going to Elo. The other Orichalcon I made into a Cosmo Shield. This is a relatively new addition to my setup. I haven't really tried it out yet, but I'm thinking going with adding it to Matthew. How much attack does he lose? He only loses about 5 attack. Yeah. Or no, like 15 attack? How much attack does he get? 10, okay. I think I'm gonna roll with it, honestly. Getting those resistances on him is pretty nice. And that being said, this is very much a work in progress. I haven't quite decided whether or not I'm going to keep that on him. And for the last 2, I've made another Zol Ring and an Air Bangle. Zol Ring, like I said before, going to Matthew. Because he needs the speed, and badly. Yeah, Crystal Powder. Give that to a person who can use it. And the Air Bangle is going to Karis, as I said before. Very good piece of equipment for her. Increased Jupiter power by 30. Very, very useful. And last but not least, we're going to work on this bow, because it's probably... it's one of my more debated decisions as far as whether or not I'm going to use an item. And now we just gotta walk out and walk back in like everything else in the world. Might as well just have you guys come along for the ride because yada yada yada. Or I can cut it out in post, who knows. I've been very not edity lately, or for this entire LP. I haven't edited a lot out, especially compared to my Lost Age, where I edited a bunch of stuff out. But I feel like this game, it's a little bit, everything's a little bit more connected, and there's a lot less downtime, like just sailing. Like I said, the distance you have to go is a lot shorter. Anyway, we get the Sagittarius Bow. Sagittarius Bow is a potential upgrade for Amity. Who has it? You have it. Give to Amity. Now, the weird thing is, as you can see down at, actually, you guys can't see it, but I can see it. This weapon is 161, the Masamune, that's its attack rating. This one is 170. However, if I try to equip it, it'll actually drop my attack. Which makes me think weapon skill actually has something to do with just offensive potential in general in terms of damage. So that's an interesting thing to note. Not only that, but this weapon, aside from being 9 damage increase, it also has 3 unleashes just like the Masamune. The first 2 unleashes they're pretty much in line with the Masamune's. I think the first Unleash does slightly more damage, but the second Unleash does slightly less. But they even each other out, essentially. The only real difference is, well, the first two on the Masamune are non-elemental. The first two on the Sagittarius bow are elemental. I think they are fire and Jupiter or wind, respectively, but I'm not 100% on that. He doesn't get bonuses to them, essentially. So it's almost better just to have him with the non-elemental damage. And the last Unleash is Blue Comet, which is a ×2 damage multiplier, just flat. Whereas the Masamune has a chance to do double damage, Blue Comet just does it automatically. Now, I'm not sure if Blue Comet gets Splash, like Rising Dragon does. Something tells me it might. Let me double check that, actually, because that's actually an important part of Rising Dragon. Okay, so, slight correction to what I said earlier. Masamune's first one, double attack, is actually Jupiter-based, so that is elemental, but Combat Dance is not. As far as the first two unleashes, for Sagittarius Bow, it's 1.4 and 1.8, and for Masamune, it's 1.5 and 1.6. So, they essentially even each other out. It's very close. They both have solid multipliers. Like I said, the Sagittarius Bow is just a little more extreme than the Masamune. And once again, when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. Both of them are very solid. And it really is the last Unleash that's going to determine whether or not you want to use it, as well as whether or not you want to grind up a bow skill, which I don't. From what I can tell, Blue Comet can't do Splash. So although it guarantees the ×2 damage, it will not hit adjacent targets. And honestly, I really do like that about the Masamune, so I think I'm going to stick with the Masamune for right now. But Sagittarius Bow is definitely a viable option. It's definitely a good option for Amity. And it's a usable option for Karis as well, but really Verdant Sword's going to outclass it in the end. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to personal preference. On paper, Sagittarius Bow is better in a bunch of different ways, but at the same time, there's a couple shortcomings on it. And the fact that you have to spend time just training it up. It can potentially kind of nuke its usability. Especially in the post-game, and especially if you've done everything and you go to Crossbow Isle last, then it's definitely almost useless. Anyway, today we're heading off to fight our first, super boss, I guess you could call it. Gonna be heading back down to the Fire Island that we got the Umbra Knuckles from. I remember it's the Knuckles because it's a place I always go first. Oh, well, that's dead. Oh, that is a energy damaging attack. That's interesting. Anyway, now we get to climb up Spiral Mountain again. Because once was not enough. Well, this is kind of pathetic. Scaling, sometimes it does not happen. Alright, now we shouldn't take anywhere near as long in here as I did last time. Alright, grip over. And then I think I can drop down. Or walk down, okay. Good enough for me. Aha. I think I see what I need to do here. Go up, maybe? I said this isn't going to take anywhere near as long, and then I just, you know, immediately contradict that. By not knowing where I'm supposed to go. Oh, right, duh. I have a platform here, let's make use of it. Anyway, this door might look familiar. It's the same one that was in the Apollo Sanctum. Anyway, just stick our sword key on in here. And open sesame. Alright, now I'm gonna make a save here, just in case I completely screw this up. The odds of that happening are pretty low, but we're gonna do it anyway, just to be safe. I'm also gonna take a second to prepare. So give me a minute. Okay, back now. Just kind of wanted to get the information I needed up on screen, because this fight is a little bit interesting. And yes, we're going straight into the fight. No dungeon this time around. Kinda lame, but, you know, whatever. Like I said, Dark Dawn doesn't have as much post-game as the others in the series. Hi there. Guardian of Fire, if you want more power, show me how much you already have. Ogre Titan! He's so tiny! Anyway, Ogre Titan is basically if Vulcaner from Lost Age decided to get rid of his silly Djinn summoning strategy and decided to beat you upside the head with blunt force trauma instead. Pretty much an all-around universal benefit, but the fight is a little bit more complicated than that. But we'll wait till it actually starts getting complicated to go over it. Anyway, for right now, like I said, he pretty much just beats you over the head with blunt force trauma, so defense boosts are actually really good in this fight, and this is a fight that I said earlier that you could straight up out-level for. And the reason for that is because if you get too high in level and you get your defense up so high that he just won't do damage to you. But another one has joined the fight! Yes, there are more than one Ogre Titan. There's a grand total of 5 in this fight. They will periodically, well, they won't periodically. Every time, there's a maximum of 2 on screen, and every time one of them goes down, a new one will rise to take its place, and they'll get subsequently more powerful. Which is a very interesting concept, and I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but I feel like it's definitely an interesting concept, and it's not horribly done either. Is the other good thing, is that it's actually handled fairly well. I'm actually gonna take out the small one first, because if I do any kind of splash later on in the fight, he's just gonna die. Like, obviously, I want to keep a semi-weak one on the field at all times. I'm gonna try and keep the second one up, but that might fall through. If you are wondering, they are weak to Mars Psi Energy, which is ironic because they are guarding the Mars Summon. So, it's kind of weird. They resist Jupiter, oddly enough. They're like one of the only things in the game that actually resist Jupiter, which, you know, congratulations, you guys are awesome with that. And as a result of that, their damage is almost entirely Venus-based, which is why I'm keeping Himi and Matthew out for this fight. Obviously, Tyrell and Elo are here to do damage. And my defense is buffed so high that I essentially can just ignore them. And he's down for the count. Unfortunately, I think I might do too much damage to this guy. Alright, we're going to start targeting the third one. Which I now actually, because I can't move my screen, I started on the third one. He has about 4,000 HP. Oh, that's not a lot. I might want to leave you alive. Like I said, there's 5 in total. So we're actually going to go for small one, take him out with a nice Megiddo. Not take him out, okay. I thought 1,000 damage would be more than enough to take him out. Brute Force. Probably one of their most powerful, well, obviously their most powerful attack. They only have 2 attacks. Standard attack and Brute Force. Brute Force is basically a physical Psi Energy, except it's kind of a monster ability. It's not a Psi Energy, obviously. He didn't cast it. It gives them a 1.9 multiplier, which is essentially double damage. That's kind of nasty. Alright, number 4 has arrived. Let's start our attacks on him. With my defense so high, I'm really not in a position to be scared of anything, really. I might want to reestablish my defensive buff in a minute, but really, with Megiddo swinging like it is, we're going to clean this one very quickly. And there's Olympus Rage. This is going to do a ton. 826, not as much as I would have liked, but not horrible at the same time. Yeah, see, 2 brute forces, both targeted on Elo. He barely lost a quarter of his health. I'm gonna go ahead and... Actually, you know what? You attack... Actually, no. Sorry. You need to reestablish defensive buffs just to make sure we're still good on those. You go for the attack, because your damage is actually slightly better in this fight. And you go for Stoke. Just to get our damage up, because I think I only double buffed. I didn't get my full damage output ready. There we go. Now we're doing some proper damage. Looks like they are recovering some amount of health every turn. That's not a horrible thing. Radiant Fire. Oh, yeah. Elo is your star player in this fight. If he can get his Olympus Rages off, he can do a crap ton of damage. Kind of afraid to summon, because I'm afraid of knocking them both. Actually, if I knocked them, I'm afraid of taking out Ogre Titan 3, so I think I'm gonna hold off on my summons. Because he has taken a bit of splash. Wow, and Matthew is just going at it. Doing almost 1,500. But yeah, if you're able to get the Firebrand for this fight, it's actually a pretty good... It's the Firebrand, it's a Flame Sword. It's the one that I was talking about alongside Leviathan. Because that's actually a elemental weapon, so it will do just straight elemental damage. It'll do fire elemental damage, and because of that, it has a lot of abilities that are normally non-elemental that become fire elemental. Anyway, our true boss, Ogre Titan 5, has appeared. He is kind of a monster. He has an additional attack called Massive Swing that is... It's kind of like Retribution if he didn't... without the instant kill effect, so it's a little bit more fair. Go ahead and hit us with Angel Spear again. I'm a little bit worried about it wearing off. Just cure up the Elo. He's been taking some hits for us. Oh, and he's got 2 actions. Duly noted. Actually, what I need to do right now is, since I have Ogre Titan 5 out, I need to take out 3. Yep, there's a Massive Swing. Ow. Yeah, I'm going to reestablish my defensive buffs just to be safe. Because the minute they go down, I'm going to start hurting a lot more. I'm worried about Matthew. But yeah, this group of guys is actually going to be some of my star players. This fight and another fight is pretty much going to have the identical party setup. That being said, I am going to swap Himi out for Reef for that fight because Himi's a little bit better for physical defense, but the other fight that I'm thinking about is a little bit more magical based, which Reef will excel a little bit more because he can just drop resists, basically at will. And that's more useful for that fight. Himi's more useful for this fight because she's an adorable little meat tank down there. Oh yeah, there we go. There's that 1.5 or whatever damage. And Rage. Still can't, you know, quite keep up with Megiddo's ×3 insanity, but that's because, you know, ×3 is what ×3 will do, which is break the game. Oh, come on. I was hoping for... Actually, no, I think it's Meltdown that is defense down. We just got our defense up recently, so we should be fine. And actually, Himi, I think you can survive. Break off, summon Karin. Just in case I mess up and I lose my attack buffs. We're not focusing on keeping anything alive now, which means I can do as much splash as I want. Okay, good, he spread it out. Just to be safe. Break turn. Reestablish. Oh, I hope that's enough to offset his healing. Oh wow, we haven't maxed our attack stat? We maxed our defense, that's good. Okay, 250, I think is what I saw there. But yeah, if we haven't maxed our attack stat yet... I think we might have just. Ooh. Going for the head. That would have hurt if I didn't have my defense all the way up. Yeah, 250. Okay, so yeah, I can offset his healing pretty easily. I want to ensure that I have... Actually, I'm fairly positive. There's no way I haven't maxed my attack at this point. Yep, he's tanking pretty hard. He's got good defenses as well. Do Himi and Matthew tie for speed and they're just going at random? Because I know Matthew went before her earlier in the fight. Ooh, nice dodge. Okay, this is a question I need answered. Matthew is 523. Himi is 520. Okay, they're almost identical. Very close. Understood why now. There you go, one more turn and then maybe start rebuffing. Or not. Or you could just die on me. Oh, once again. I'm not sure if it's just that my buffs will automatically wear off at the end of the battle, or if I just happen to kill things on the turn my buffs are going to wear off. Because now all my buffs are gone. Yeah, fist pump. Level up train. Choo-choo. Amity. Karis. Reef. Not Sevita. Please tell me Sevita's like a level behind everyone. Nope, everyone's tied at 52. Good to know. Anyway, here we have an old friend. Now summon Dalius. 3 Venus, 4 Mars. Dalius is just like in Lost Age. The first turn he will do a good amount of damage, but it's a 2-stage attack. On the end of the turn, after the turn you summon him, he will drop in a nuke and do massive amounts of damage to the enemies. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, that's about it for today. Next time we'll probably go after another... probably, like we have anything else to do. We're definitely going after another boss next time, so... I guess see you guys then.